how do you feel about season passes living inside your favorite new video games? Many of us view season passes as a plague, with those money-grubbing corporate executives scheming away to pluck as many dollars out of our pockets as they can with future promises for their games. Others may see it in a different light though, as season passes often provide a very real discount on the price of future DLC by simply asking you to pre-purchase the game in advance. But then there's a smaller population of people who may understand that season passes have the potential to split up player bases with content exclusive to season pass owners and incentivize companies to underdevelop games by cornering off our favorite content and monetizing it inside the season pass, even before the game releases. Mass Effect Andromeda launches on March 21st, and it's not coming slathered with an additional season pass. In today's video, we're going to explore the history of season passes and discuss the pros and cons of a very, very touchy subject in the video game industry. Contemporary season passes started with a little game called LA Noire in 2011. Players could pick up the Rockstar Pass, which granted 4 new missions, 2 outfits, and a badge pursuit challenge mode for $10. And if you didn't buy the season pass, all of this content would cost you double, $20, and hence began the trend for the AAA season pass. The basic idea for season passes is to do just that. Create a bunch of future DLC content and then bundle it together in a season pass at a reduced price to sell before the game releases. Although the prospect of selling content at a 50% markdown may seem like the opposite of smart business to many, the benefits associated with season pass scheming far outweigh the cost. For one, developers get more money for the average purchase of their video games. And secondly, they secure you as a purchaser in advance for their future content, and that is extremely important. If they can get you to pre-purchase the DLC content before you've even tried the game, then they've won. Having customers pre-purchase future content shields them against the possibility that you'll buy the base game, hate it, and never want to buy the DLC. Thus, developers don't care if you hate the game if you buy the season pass, because you've already paid for it. And you wouldn't have if you just tried the game in the first place. But of course, this strategy didn't just pop out of nowhere. It sprang, of course, from the emergence of single-purchase DLC content that was evident 10 years prior. In the early 2000s, Microsoft introduced, although mostly for free, DLC for games like Splinter Cell, Halo 2, and Ninja Gaiden through the Xbox Live service. Future versions of the console, including the Xbox 360, realized that they could sell this content for a flat fee. Shortly after, it dawned on Sony that they should mimic Microsoft, and in turn they launched the PlayStation Store and provided paid DLC for games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Fast forward 5 to 10 years, and now companies are bundling up massive amounts of this paid DLC as season passes, available to purchase at launch, usually for a flat fee that has been spiraling out of control since. There's a very real possibility for publishers to create abusive season passes for the sole purpose of making more money. Many games have the motivation to cut pieces out of our favorite games, package them in an inflated season pass, and ask you to pay the premium for them. Season passes can also come across as just downright arrogant, even when very little information is actually available for the pre-purchaser. The very notion of them is indeed incredibly presumptuous. Games like Mankind Divided nearly crossed a line with its mystery box style season pass in 2016, withholding the contents of it until 2 days before the launch of the actual game, yet asking people to faithfully hand over their hard-earned money for it. Thirdly, season passes can also disillusion a developer's vision for how their game will perform, and how the public will actually perceive it. A game like Evolve is the prime example, equipped with a ridiculous season pass that no one actually wanted. But I'm sure 2K Games wouldn't have known that. All of that scheming and construction of that elaborate season pass, hallucinating them into believing a vision that wasn't a reality. Lastly, season passes can really mess up multiplayer games. Call of Duty is most certainly the worst offender, and the endless map DLCs that split, cut up and break communities into small groups, which ultimately fade into oblivion once the player base gets stretched too thin. But there are some good things about season passes when they're produced fairly and correctly. Longtime fans of games who already know that they're going to purchase all future DLC no matter what, get a nice little discount. Season passes can also extend the longevity of those games and the content itself, ensuring that the lifespan of those games can be extended with the use of the revenue earned by pre-order season pass sales. This allows bigger worlds to be built, more expansive stories to be told, and more playability at fair cost, such as with the Fallout 4 Season Pass. I recall a time before season passes where games were made just to make people happy. Battlefield Bad Company 2 makes me feel this way, a no bullshit game built from the ground up to be just fun, with as little corporate spiderwebbing in the way as possible. But I think Bad Company 2 was the calm before the storm, the point at which companies like EA, Activision, and Ubisoft really jumped on that money-grabbing season pass bandwagon. I think Mass Effect Andromeda is in a good spot right now without a season pass, as it will allow BioWare to develop the core game they want now, size up how well the game is performing post-launch by looking at sales, and develop new DLC content based on player feedback. They've obviously learned their lesson from the revolting From the Ashes controversy that poisoned Mass Effect 3's day one launch. And with Andromeda knocking on the door, unshackled from a season pass, I'm hopeful for the future of Mass Effect. But what about you guys? Share your thoughts regarding season passes below and let's continue the conversation. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, by all means hit the thumbs up button and subscribe here for more of our future content. And have yourself a kick-ass day, guys.